available at a later date. Only the panelists will have both video and audio function throughout the webinar. All attendees' cameras and microphones will be turned off. Please do communicate and utilise the Q&A function. We suggest that you keep this open throughout the webinar and ask any questions here, which we will answer during the designated breaks. Next slide, please. So I would now like to just go on to do some introductions and introduce myself and my colleagues. So my name is Aisha. I am the Club Inclusion Manager here at Access Sport, based in London. Within my role here, I am responsible for supporting the development of community bike clubs in their quest to become more inclusive to women, girls, young people from disadvantaged backgrounds, and deaf and disabled young people. Throughout the webinar, I will be talking you through who we are as Access Sport, why we have decided to set up the track in Harrow, and just give you some brief information about the track design. I'll now allow my colleagues Steph and Mel to introduce themselves.
Cool. Hi everyone, I'm Steph and I'm the Project Delivery Manager at Access Sport, and I work with Aisha on the Making TRAX Cycling Inclusion Programme. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit later in the presentation about hub activation, club development, and then some kind of volunteer roles.
Hi, I'm Mel, I'm Club Development Officer, and today I'll just be vetting through and sorting through some Q&A questions and then posing them to the panel later on.
Thank you, guys. Okay, so now to just give you a bit of an introduction to Access Sport. So Access Sport is a sport inclusion charity that aims to put inclusion at the heart of community sport. We are dedicated to enhancing the life prospects of disadvantaged young people and those from marginalised groups by providing opportunities to experience and enjoy the power of sport. We are working to combat the shocking levels of exclusion, hardship and poor health faced by millions in the UK today. So at Access Sport, we strive for there to be a level playing field so that everyone, regardless of their ability or background, can have the ability and opportunity to take part in sport and physical activity. We work primarily in London, Bristol, Manchester and Oxford through 4 key programmes known as the Disability Inclusion Programme, the Team 100 programme, the High Sheriff Social Inclusion Programme, and our Making TRAX programme. I'll now just go through and give you a little bit of information on each of our programmes. So our Disability Inclusion Programme works across London and Bristol, supporting community clubs and organisations to provide disability inclusive opportunities across a wide range of sports, so there's something for everyone. Team 100 is a community-led volunteering project across London and Bristol, empowering local residents to volunteer and get their communities active. The High Sheriff Social Inclusion Programme works in Oxford and Manchester to tackle the social exclusion of young disabled people and those living in areas of deprivation, working with community sports clubs to create inclusive clubs that offer positive youth development pathways. And lastly, our Making TRAX programme is our cycling inclusion programme, aiming to normalise inclusion and diversity in cycling, which is the programme myself and my colleagues work on. Next slide, please. So to help achieve inclusion in sport, we at Access Sport train, educate, equip and support local volunteers and their community sports organisations so that they can grow and become more sustainable and include and develop disabled children and young people in all physical activity. Essentially unleashing the potential of community sports organisations to reach more disabled and disadvantaged young people whilst developing and strengthening their local communities. So as mentioned earlier, within Access Sport, we are part of the Making TRAX programme, which is all about normalising youth inclusion and diversity in cycling, which is our mission as a programme. Also, Harrow Bike Club will be supported by the Making TRAX programme. So essentially we do our work by supporting people from typically underrepresented groups to kickstart a lifelong love of cycling for sport, recreation and travel. We do this because we want our work to act as a beacon to inspire others and to create a national movement for change. So in order to put our mission into practice, we conduct our work in primarily deprived areas across London, Bristol, Manchester and Oxford, and do so through our 3 key strands of work, which are facilities, club work and our community outreach offer. So the facilities work that we do involves working with local communities to build brand new cycling facilities, Our club work is where we create new volunteer-led sustainable community cycling clubs like Harrow Bike Club and support existing clubs to become more inclusive. And lastly, our community outreach work is where we deliver a 12-week BMX community outreach program to schools, pupil referral units, and community organisations. So we are building a brand new open access off-road BMX and cycling facility in Kenton Recreation Ground with the aim of developing a sustainable community-led bike club that will serve the community in Harrow. So we decided to set up the bike club here for a number of reasons. On average, Harrow is reported as having higher rates of inactivity, lower rates of sport and active recreation than any other borough in London. It has been reported that 1 in 3 adults are currently inactive. 2/3 of adults are obese. Generally, almost 1/3 of pupils stop participating in physical education and sport once they begin secondary school. And lastly, 6 out of 10 people who are currently inactive have reported that they would wish to become more active. So with this information about the lack of physical activity and exercise in this area, but the great desire for more activity, we believe setting up a sustainable volunteer-led local club here will help to improve levels of inactivity and general well-being. So the aim of the proposed track design, which you can see on the screen here, is to create a track that is suitable for all abilities, riders, disabled people, from those with impairments, complete beginners, all the way to learn to ride, and all the way through to expert riders. So the track will be an open access public facility open throughout the year for free casual use. It will also be the base for structured coaching sessions and training provision for local schools, delivered by qualified cycling coaches and newly formed volunteers for Harrow Bike Club. As mentioned earlier, Harrow Bike Club will be based at Kenton Recreation Ground and accessible and inclusive for all ages and abilities. There will be a green loop area for disabled and beginner riders, and a blue loop for intermediate and proven riders, and then finally the red loop for the experienced and expert riders. This will include a start gate system for those who wish to practice the Olympic sport of BMXing. So the track design will also be of full asphalt with landscape banks to prevent any damage and to assist with the ongoing maintenance of the track. Just to let you guys know, the track build is going really, really well, and builders have provided an expected completion date for the end of September and beginning of October this year. So to continue, I'll just briefly provide some further information on some of the other features of the track. So there will be fencing in place that surrounds the track and facility site, an on-site double width storage container to support all necessary equipment for the hub based at the site. All areas of the pump track will be tarmac. This will be to give the track a maintenance-free approach. And finally, signage will be available in and around the track to ensure that all new attendees have a way of finding and accessing the track. So here's just some updated images of the track, which is going really, really well, and we can't wait for it to be built. Thank you. We'll now just pause for any questions. Melina, have any questions come in?
Some external questions come in. So first one was, can I use my bike on the track, my road bike on the track?
Okay, great question. So the track is tarmacked, so it can be used for all-wheeled bikes. However, the design of the jumps and the beams of the track are more suited to BMX and mountain bikes, which are less likely to damage the surface of the track.
A second one came in and was saying, do you need to book in to use the track?
Okay, so the track is open access, so no, you don't need to book in. However, future activities, including coaching and sessions run by the Hub's Community Club or other groups, may need to be booked in.
Perfect. And another question was, is the area going to be locked when not in use, or is it kind of going to be 24/7 access?
Okay, so the park will not be locked, but the site will not have any lighting, so will not be usable outside of daylight hours. The container, however, will, with all of the equipment in it, will be locked at all times and only accessed by responsible key holders.
And last one was, will there be any toilet facilities for use of participants?
So there'll be no toilets as a part as there'll be no toilets at the track or have been included in the track design, but you can use any of the local toilet facilities that are within the area.
Perfect. Those are the questions so far.
Thanks, Mel. So that was just a brief introduction to who we are at Access Sport and some introductory information about Harrow Bike Club. I'll now hand you over to Steph, who will talk you through more plans for Harrow Bike Club, hub activation and the Community Bike Collective.
Thanks, Aisha. Hi everyone. So the first thing that I'm going to talk to you about tonight is this idea of activating a hub. So just to clarify, essentially the facility is the hub. And the reason that we refer to the facility as a hub is because we, want it to become more than just a track, more than just a facility, and more of a hub activity for the local community to use and enjoy. So to help achieve this, we will be promoting the hub for both formal and informal use. We will be forming the hub's community bike collective, which I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about on the next few slides. We're also going to be setting up and delivering targeted outreach to local schools and youth groups, inviting local service providers to use the track and support the inclusion of certain groups through our Wings, BMX Size and WOW initiatives. Kind of as mentioned and built into the track design, we really want this to be a community resource that's accessible for a variety of user groups. So hopefully by using this program, we'll promote that. And then lastly, we will be continuing to develop and support the bike collective at the club through upskilling, training, or whatever support it may be that those volunteers need. So as part of the hub, there will be a community club based at the track, which I'm sure you know is called Harrow Bike Club, which Access Sport will help to initially set up and also support in the early stages. So in terms of timelines for this, Access Sport will be involved in the club for approximately 6 months to 1 year, or until the hub is in a position to be kind of self-run by the community volunteers, at which point Access Sport can step away and then support in a more light touch way. So the end hope is that, it becomes a community facility run for the community by the community. So moving on to the Community Bike Collective. So I've already mentioned this idea of a bike collective, so I'm just going to explain a little bit more about what this is. So the Bike Collective, I guess, is sort of like a committee that oversees all of the activity at the track. So it's a group of local stakeholders who collectively work together to activate, launch, support and take care of Harrow Bike Club, Hub, and its community club. So it can be made up of anyone who is enthusiastic and interested in their local community, such as individuals, service providers, groups, organisation, businesses, just essentially anyone who wants to ensure that the hub benefits the whole community. So who we would ideally want involved in the Community Bike Collective? We want a group of people who have varied skills, knowledge and experiences. So enthusiasm, excitement about the hub, health and well-being, being active, just a desire to help your community thrive, an interest in cycling, BMX riding or supporting riders, bike mechanics, and then just generic skills like organisational skills, people skills, social media skills, and then also anyone that's interested in kind of like admin, financial elements and fundraising. So yeah, if this sounds like something that you or someone you know would be interested in and you'd like to be part of the Community Bike Collective, then please do get in touch. So as mentioned, at this idea of a hub, we will support the start-up of Harrow Bike Club. So this will be a sustainable community bike club based at Harrow Bike Club. The club will run regular sessions led by local volunteers. There will be a container base at the track, which will contain bikes, helmets and maintenance equipment. The sessions will cost a small fee of around £2 to £5 to help the club become sustainable. And we do encourage the first session to always be free so people can come along and have a go before committing. We would expect the club to support with basic facility maintenance, but Access Sport would provide startup support, including working out the initial club offer, on the ground support from kind of coaches and members of staff, and then again, training, upskilling, for example, coaching courses, safeguarding, first aid, kind of all the bits that you need to make a club successful. After this, ongoing light touch support would be offered through our Making TRAX national network. As mentioned at the hub, we will need the support of some volunteers to kind of make Harrow Bike Club a success. So we need a group of people with varied experiences, and we've separated these roles into 4 kind of key areas, excuse me. Overseers, responsible key holders, technical helpers, and hub helpers. So to break this down a little bit further, you'll see the screenshot on the right, which was put up on the Harrow Facebook page, that lists a little bit more of the individual roles within these areas that the club would need support with. So yeah, if you're interested or any of those roles seem like something that you'd like to get involved with, and if not, and if there is a role that you think you need a little bit of extra training or support with, then that is why Access Sport are here to kind of help you get confident in building up those skills to be able to do these volunteer roles. So we thought it'd be useful to kind of include a little bit of an example session, so people can kind of get to know what a club session might look like, and therefore like what's expected of them. So within a club session, we would kind of need someone to be on the welcome, registration and check-in, I guess, role post. And this role includes kind of the security of the container, but also kind of checking in riders. Harrow Bike Club will be signed up to a data collection program called Spond. So yeah, we need a volunteer to sign riders in and take payment through that Spond app. And then we need someone on equipment, so someone that hands out and keeps an eye on equipment, making sure that riders have the correct size equipment, all the correct safety gear, and then also that no one not in the session is accessing the container or the equipment that shouldn't be. And then 2 to 3 minimum on track. As you can see from the designs, it's a pretty big track. So we're probably nearing the 3 people, but we ideally need someone on the start hill who can, survey the whole area. This person would probably also be responsible for like first aid and managing the numbers of riders on the track, just because they can kind of oversee everything that's going on. And then we'd also like someone who is happy to kind of work with the beginners on a designated area of the track. So the community club launch. So we are currently working towards an official launch date of the track, which we're hoping is going to be on the 3rd of October. It is dependent on kind of the track builders finishing on time and the track being signed off, that sort of thing. But yeah, if all goes to plan, we're heading for that date. This is a chance for local people to come along and have a go, find out more. And also any volunteers that are interested can come along and have a chat with us and kind of find out their expectations and what we can support with, and things like that. So due to the current situations, this is going to kind of look a little bit different than we've done in the past. So we will require kind of like smaller groups, sign-ups prior to the event, and also ways to minimise equipment sharing. So kind of the more hands the better, to be fair. So if anyone is around and wants to help out or knows someone that might be interested, then please do let us know. It would be great to have kind of a group of volunteers in place before the club's even had its first session, so getting in touch with us ahead of time is always a bonus. So last but not least, just kind of like the next steps. So yeah, essentially just get in touch with us if you or someone you know wants to be a voluntary helper for the bike collective or at the club, or any community partners or schools who want to utilise the hub. Yeah, we can kind of get everyone together before, chat around what we want the club to be. Yeah, we kind of want you guys to make the decisions for what you want in your local community. If not, just spreading the word is really helpful. So we've been recording this webinar and we'll be posting it to the Facebook group via YouTube link. So it would be great if yeah, anyone could share it to people that they think might be interested, that couldn't join today or just might not have heard about it. And then, yeah, as I mentioned, the next big thing is the launch on the provisional date of the Saturday, 3rd of October. So again, just kind of an opportunity for us to ask you if you do want to help out, to let us know. So that's it from us. Thanks for joining us. We're going to finish with a chance for you guys to ask any further questions. Please do pop down our email addresses, which are on the screen now. And if you have any further questions that you'd like to ask me and Aisha about anything that we've said or anything that you're still unsure on, then please do get in touch. But Melina, should we finish with any questions?
Yeah, we've had a few follow-up questions come through. First one was regarding schools and how they could get involved.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, my role is kind of the delivery manager. So I oversee the outreach program that we run at Access Sport. It is a kind of free outreach program, so it is funded by Access Sport. So again, just contact us either via Facebook or email, and I can let you know kind of what the offer is, what the requirements are, and we can go from there. Due to kind of the start date, we're kind of looking at bookings for after the October half term. So from then running up until Christmas.
A second one was coming in asking, will local clubs have the opportunity to access the facility for their youth groups?
Yes, definitely. So as I said, we really want the facility to become a hub. So even though the club is kind of going to be based there, we really want to encourage other local providers to use the track. So it might be that you use our equipment, you have your own equipment, but yeah, the track is open for everyone essentially.
And the last one coming through was, how will the site be sustainable in terms of activities and facilities? And then how will it be upkept?
So in terms of kind of the big job of resurfacing the track and things like that, there will be like an annual maintenance built into the contract with the council, but kind of smaller things, you know, like sweeping up litter or repairing little bits of the track surface will be the responsibility of the community club. Because it is an all tarmacked track, there should be kind of less maintenance involved with some of the other tracks that you might see across London. So that maintenance has been a big consideration for the design of the track.
That's it for me.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's it. I see there's some questions on the Q&A, but yeah, I can follow up with them and yeah, see what we can do there. But yeah, if there's not any other questions, I think that was obviously a lot shorter than we planned. But thank you very much everyone for joining us, and yeah, we're excited about the track, and hopefully we'll have some more to update you on in the upcoming weeks.
I think a last minute question has just come in.
Oh, okay.
It says, do you know if Harrow Club will be registered with British Cycling, like Ealing BMX Setup Club?
Yes, so once the club is up and running, it will be affiliated to British Cycling. This is just something we do because it helps in terms of like insurance and also the support of British Cycling. So yes, it will. We probably won't do it for the first few weeks, just because we kind of need volunteers to take like the bank account and things like that. So yes, it will be.
Any more?
No, that was it. I think the same person said they were just interested in getting involved, and that was their follow-up question.
Yep, that's fine. I can get in touch with them. Cool.
Okay. Thank you everyone for your time and for joining.
Thanks. Bye everyone.